Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. She dropped the plate in the sink like it was my fault the water was cold, then turned her shoulder so I'd get the message. I reached for her waist. Habit, nothing grand, and she sidestepped without looking at me. Not tonight. She tossed over her shoulder. Actually, let's just stop the random touching. It's distracting. Distracting from what? I leaned on the counter. Me existing in my own kitchen? From the long list of things you keep failing at. That was the first time she put herself on a stage and me in the audience. No warm-up, no smile, just new rules. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have saved my breath and skipped to the ending. I tried being patient. I'm a man who builds cabinets for a living. I know the value of straight lines and measured cuts. But that week, everything turned crooked. She went from cool to glacial. I asked twice to sit down and talk. She checked a weather app. I asked a third time. She pretended her phone rang. The new routine became clear. I'm the student. She's the principal. She withholds the hall pass. I wait to be called. Cute system. Not mine. The next Saturday, I rolled the trash bin to the curb, came back inside, and set a mug of coffee in front of her. 2 minutes, I said. No drama. We're not doing well. We fix it or we name it. Her eyes didn't lift. I'm not doing this now. Pick the hour then. My calendar's open. You're needy. That's the problem. Needy enough to expect basic respect? She laughed like that was a punchline. Learn to read the room, Mark. Reading it fine, I replied. I'm rewriting the schedule. Starting today, I'm not guessing what mood I'm allowed to be in. I'll handle my side, you handle yours. Handle away. I will. New rules. I'm off the hook for your last-minute plans. I'll cook on Mondays and Thursdays. You handle your days. Finances go 50-50 again, separate accounts for discretionary stuff. And if there's a topic to discuss, we set a time. I don't play chase. She finally looked up. So dramatic. Efficient, I said. You don't want contact? Noted. I'll stop offering what you're not interested in. See? You heard me. Oh, I heard you. She took the mug, sniffed it, and didn't drink. We'll see how long your little system lasts. It lasts as long as I do. I grabbed my keys and walked out before the conversation could rot. That was my first initiative. I stopped performing in her theater. I cut the maybe later strings and moved our life to a clean grid. She rolled her eyes like I'd declared a holiday no one cared about, but I meant it. I moved gym nights. I told my crew I'd be taking an extra Saturday shift. I took back control of my time. If she wanted a man on a leash, she'd need a different house. By midweek, the temperature in the house dropped another 10 degrees. She went quiet at dinner, then went loud where it counted. Small stings that leave marks. She started pointing out standards. Wipe the counter after you cut, she said, wiping the same spot again. Already did. Not the way I do it. Then it's handled. You're defensive. I'm done being trained. Trained? She laughed. No one is training you. You're just behind. I placed the knife down and met her stare. Behind what? Behind what a partner should be. Define that. Someone who does what needs doing without being asked. And when I do, you move the bar. She smirked like I'd finally caught up. Exactly. Then I'll save my energy. I rinsed the board. You want something from me? Ask once and respect the answer. Otherwise, manage your own expectations. Are you threatening to stop trying? I'm announcing a change. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Score 1 for adult language she couldn't twist. But she didn't drop it. She upgraded tactics. We had a neighborhood barbecue at Hank's place that Saturday. Backyard, folding tables, paper plates, nothing fancy. I showed up with a tub of potato salad and a smile I didn't feel. She came late, sunglasses on, posture tall. She waved at everyone but me. Hank clapped my shoulder. How's business, man? Busy. Spring rush. Folks want bill tints like it's free. His wife, Carla, leaned in. Where's Jenna? Parking, I said, though she'd already drifted onto the patio. When she reached our circle, she didn't greet me. She went straight for the show. Everyone, she said lightly. You know how Mark fixes things? He lines up his wood like soldiers, then stares at it for an hour. The cabinets, I mean. Not you know. Polite laughter. Hank coughed. Carla looked at her shoes. I let it sit for a beat. Accurate, I replied. I stare until I don't have to redo it. Jenna sipped lemonade. If only that worked with listening skills. Nora appeared then, Jenna's younger sister. She lives across town, runs events for a nonprofit, knows every vendor within 20 miles. She'd always been warm to me, quick with a joke, nobody's fool. She caught the end of Jenna's line, tilted her head, and smiled thin. What did I miss? She asked. Jenna didn't blink. Just trying to improve the product. You know how it is. Nora's eyes went to me, then to Jenna. He's not a product. It's a metaphor. It's a bad one, Nora said. And loud. Jenna laughed. Relax. We're kidding. I'm not hearing a joke, I said, looking at Hank's grill smoke so I wouldn't stare at my wife. I'm hearing a choice. What choice? Jenna's sunglasses hid her eyes, but the tone was pure theater. Belittle in public, I said. Pass. That's not what this is. Nora stepped closer, one hand in the pocket of a light jacket. Jen, you're pushing. I can hear it from the driveway. I'm not. Jenna shifted a half step back. Nora, stay out of it. You started it in front of a dozen people. I'm already in it. I kept my voice even. I'm not having this debate over a grill, I told Jenna. You want a posture? Find another audience. With me, you get a straight rule, no more public digs. You cross it, I leave the event. Simple. You'll leave? Over a joke? Over disrespect? Nora nodded at me once, like we'd rehearsed it. Good rule. Jenna snorted. Unbelievable. Hank waved a spatula, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. Brats are ready. Jenna forced a smile for the crowd. Fine. Everyone, relax. It was a joke. Nora sipped water, eyes steady on her sister. The signal was clear. A witness wasn't buying it. That was pressure she didn't expect. On the walk back to our chairs, Jenna touched my arm. Don't make a scene, she said low. I'm saying sorry. That's not an apology. It is. I shouldn't have said it. What are you going to do differently next time? She paused. I'll try to think before I speak. That'll do, I said. She wanted a soft landing. I gave her a runway. That was illusion one. And yes, I clocked it. For 2 days, she pulled the soft care routine. Made eggs. Sent me a text at lunch. Hope your day's smooth. Put a hand on my shoulder when she walked past. It looked like progress until the invoice came due. Wednesday night, she set a folder on the table. I did the math, she announced. From here on out, you'll handle groceries and utilities. I'll cover mortgage and everything that comes with the house, like upgrades. It makes more sense. I flipped through her numbers. This puts me at a higher monthly spend. You make more. Not by your figures. You always say you're fine. I am. I just don't fund unilateral decisions. Want to renegotiate? We do it together. This is together. No, I said. This is you writing rules, then handing me a pen to sign. God, you're stubborn. Firm, I corrected. And done arguing. We keep the split as is. If you want to invest in upgrades, we discuss, or you handle it. Clean lines. She scoffed, grabbed the folder, and left the room. 10 minutes later, her message pinged. We need space tonight. I'm sleeping in the guest room. That was her second move. Withdraw access, then raise the price. I didn't pay. I took a walk, called my friend Miguel from the shop. Man, he said, this isn't a season. This is a job description she wrote for you. I'm revising it. Good. Don't argue with a job post. Decline it. The funny part is what happened next wasn't my idea. It was Nora's. She showed up the following Friday with a box of invitations for a charity thing. Asked if she could park them in our garage for a day. Jenna wasn't home. I said sure. We were lifting boxes when she asked the question people ask when they already know the answer. You good? Working on it. She's been rough. Nora set a box down, straightened. I'm not saying you're perfect, but I saw enough at Hank's. I appreciate the witness. She's testing you, she said. For what, I don't know. But she's pushing to see if she can reshape the entire layout. I noticed, I said dry. She's building a custom husband. Nora cracked a small smile. You're not stock. Don't act like it. Then she studied me and added, lighter, do one thing for me. What's that? Before you call it, try one clean run. Get out of town together. Neutral ground. No laundry, no dishes, no calendars. 2 days where you both breathe. If she can't meet you there, you'll know. I've been trying to schedule a talk for weeks. That's the house. Houses have echoes. Go somewhere where she can't triangulate every move. And if it goes sideways, she lifted one shoulder. I'll drive down and bring you back. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. I laughed. You're bold. I'm practical. She wiped her hands on her jeans. One last clear attempt. If she refuses, that's data. Use it. It sat with me all weekend. My pride didn't love the idea of initiating more effort. My logic did. So Monday morning, I booked 2 round-trip tickets to a quiet coastal town 3 hours away. Nothing fancy. Just a decent hotel, ocean, and a diner with a chalkboard menu. I printed the confirmation and slipped it under the salt shaker on the kitchen island. That evening, she came home, saw the paper, and smiled for the first time in a while. The smile evaporated when she read the town. Here. She held up the page like I'd offered her coupons. Why? Because it's quiet. Because it's today. Bags by 6. We eat on the road. Today. She laughed into the air. You're joking. Nope. Surprise. Fresh start. I have Pilates. Then you'll stretch in the morning. We're leaving at 6. She kept reading, looking for the catch. This is basic. It's simple, I corrected. Same thing. Not to me. I checked my watch. You coming? She shoved the paper back at me. I'm not spending 2 days in a budget motel eating greasy eggs. If you want to play tourist, be my guest. Go alone to your cheap little trip. Thank you, I said. You just made my night easier. She blinked. What does that mean? It means your sister gave me a smart idea. I told her if you pass, she's my backup. She knows the plan. You're not serious. Dead serious. I pulled out my phone, typed without waiting for her reaction. Pack a bag, Nora. I knew this would happen. She's not going with you. Jenna said, voice rising. Don't be ridiculous. Why would it be ridiculous? It's a hotel room with double beds and ocean air. Conversation. Clarity. Nothing more. You're insane. Maybe, I said. But I'm done negotiating with someone who thinks I need reprogramming. She stood there, stunned like I'd switched languages. You're bluffing. We leave at 6, I said. With you or without you. She switched to condescension, her favorite fuel. Good luck, Mark. Enjoy your discount vacation. Thanks, I said. We will. She walked down the hallway, muttered something about childish, and shut the bedroom door. An hour later, I threw 2 shirts and jeans into a bag, texted Nora the hotel address, and fell asleep on the couch. When Jenna woke the next morning, she walked into a quiet living room and an empty driveway. We met at the airport curb. Nora had a small roller bag and a look that said she knew the stakes. She really said to go alone? Word for word, I said. She added adjectives. Of course she did. Nora tapped her bag. All right then. 2 days. We talk. We rest. We don't stir the pot. That's the plan. We did exactly that, and more in the cleanest sense. We walked the boardwalk, ate too much seafood, and laughed at tourists trying to feed fries to gulls. At night, we sat on the hotel balcony, the kind with wobbly metal chairs, and talked about jobs, families, the way people rewrite agreements when they think you won't notice. She asked me once, quietly, what do you want if you strip away every expectation? I thought for a long second. Respect, I said. Simple. 2 adults, not a trainer and a trainee. Fair, she said, and close to impossible with someone who gets high off control. I didn't answer that. The ocean made its soft noise, and we let it. Jenna's text started the next afternoon. So you really took my sister, the first one read. I didn't reply. Answer me. Silence. If this is true, there'll be paperwork waiting when you get back. Then, 5 minutes later, you're disgusting. A pause, then, call me. Now. I set the phone face down. The next wave was a different tone. Fine. Whatever. Be safe. An hour later came. We need to talk. I might have overreacted. After dinner, I showed Nora the screen. She scanned the messages and laughed once, not cruelly. She let go of the rope, she said. Now she's yanking it back. Classic. I'm not picking up, I said. Good, she replied. You gave a fair chance. She passed. You don't know her commentary. The truth is, somewhere midweek, on the second night when the wind was pushing warm off the water, we looked at each other a beat longer than friends do. Nothing happened. No lines crossed that needed explaining. But something real blinked awake. She squeezed my hand once on the way back from the pier. I squeezed back. That was it. Then we named the boundary because we're adults. Whatever this is, she said, we don't rush. Not while you're married. Agreed, I told her. I doubt that situation survives the month. But we do it right. We kept our word. We came home rested, clear, and ready to finish the part that needed finishing. Jenna was waiting in the living room like a show about to start. Arms crossed, chin high, fury coiled tight. I set my bag down. Nora stayed on the porch, polite distance. You took my sister, Jenna started. I invited you first, I said. You engineered this. I offered a trip. You rejected it and mocked it. I took someone who wanted to breathe salt air and talk. With my sister, who is an adult. That's family. I know, I said. She also witnessed something at Hank's that you pretend didn't happen. This is your defense? You wanted to embarrass me. I wanted to fix the marriage, I said. For months. You refused every talk. You made a hobby out of withholding and nitpicking. You raised the price on basics and called it standards. I set a boundary. You laughed. I offered a reset. You insulted it. I followed through. You slept with her. No, I said. And if you keep throwing mud, throw it at reality, not theory. She paced, knocked a magazine off the coffee table, and turned on me with a hard stare. You think this is cute? You think you're the hero because you took initiative? I think I'm a sane man who stopped tolerating disrespect. She looked at the door, where Nora's shadow stretched across the mat. Get out of my house, she said to the air. Nora didn't move. I did. Good idea, I said. I'll be out by the weekend. I'll send you an address until papers are done. She blinked. Papers? I'm not living under a roof where I'm a project, I said. We're done. I'll handle the logistics cleanly. We split fairly. I'll be respectful. But I won't live here. You're not doing this. I am. You don't have the resolve? I've had it. I just hadn't used it on you yet. She stood very still, the fight leaking out for a half second like she'd heard something new, a tone without fear in it. Don't you walk out that door, she said finally, voice thin around the edges. If you do, it's over. That's the point, I said. You made the house a classroom. I'm dropping the class. I walked to the door. She moved like she might grab my arm, then didn't. I opened it, nodded to Nora, and stepped onto the porch. My bag rolled behind me. Jenna stayed in the doorway, eyes flicking between us, drowning in a pool she dug herself. I rented a small apartment over a bike shop the next day. Nothing special. A clean kitchen, a good lock, a table I could work on if I needed to. I told my crew I'd be adjusting hours for a bit. I moved my clothes, my tools, and the one leather chair I actually liked. I texted Jenna the new address and a short list of what I'd pick up next. She answered with a river of messages, some angry, some sweet, some bargaining. Please, let's talk. You're blowing this up for attention. Tell me what to do. I'll do it. Come home, and we'll start over. Fine, do what you want. I'll make sure it costs you. The pattern didn't surprise me. It did finally make the decision easy. We met once at a cafe with a corner table. She arrived late and started with a smile I recognized as tactical. You look tired, she said, touching the edge of my sleeve like we were on a date. How's your little loft? Quiet, I said. I like it. We can fix this, she offered. I can make room. I can compromise. How? I won't make jokes at parties anymore. I'll be nicer. That's not a plan, I said. That's PR. She leaned back. You're impossible. I'm clear, I replied. Here's what happens. We separate permanently. We list the house, or you buy me out. We divide what we built. We don't fight about forks. We keep it adult. She stared at me like I'd just told her winter was canceled. No, I'm not doing that. You don't get to leave and walk into some whatever with my sister. You don't get to keep me hostage because of bloodlines. She'll regret this. Everyone will turn on her. Maybe, I said. Or maybe people saw enough. She didn't have a good answer. We signed the first set of forms 2 weeks later. No lawyers waving swords, no courtroom theater, just paperwork and clarity. The hardest part for her wasn't the division of furniture or accounts. It was that the control was gone. She couldn't push a button and watch me dance. Nora stayed on the sidelines like she said she would. We talked on the phone, but never late, never suggestive. She sent me a picture of a shelf she'd built from scrap wood, crooked and proud. I sent her a photo of the over-the-bike shop view at dusk. She texted, "You okay?" I responded, "Better than okay." The house sold faster than I thought. We split the proceeds clean. I moved my shop's lead times around, poured the extra hours into better projects, and said yes to jobs I wanted instead of all the ones I felt obligated to take. The apartment transformed into a place that fit me, quiet when I needed it, good light in the mornings, and nobody asking me to read a mind. Between the signed papers and the final handshake, the text from Jenna ran a cycle every few days. Threat, promise, threat, offer. I stayed off the ride. A month after I left, she sent, I can change. Then, you never gave me a chance. Then, you'll be back. I archived the thread. That was my last initiative in that chapter. I removed the microphone she used to broadcast into my head. When everything was done, when keys exchanged hands and accounts settled, I did one last simple thing. I stood in the now empty living room and looked at the space where we'd tried to force two people into a bad script. She hovered near the door, arms folded like armor. This is a mistake, she said. Not a question. A verdict. No, I replied. This is what it looks like when someone stops playing a game that wasn't fun. You'll regret it. Maybe, I said, but I doubt it. Take care of yourself, Jenna. I walked past her. She caught my sleeve for a second, then let go. I didn't look back. Outside, the sun did what it always does. Nothing dramatic. Just light. The first official date with Nora was plain on purpose. Coffee, a park bench, a walk where we ran into a neighbor walking a dog that pulled like a tractor. She wore a denim jacket and a face that didn't know me anything. We sat by the little pond, watched ducks bully each other, and talked like two people without a math problem between them. So, she said after a while, teasing to cut the tension, am I the rebound scandal? Or the reason I discovered backbone? I answered. She laughed, small and real. I'll pick the second one. We didn't rush. We didn't parade. People had opinions, as usual. Some stayed quiet. Some didn't. Carla called me one afternoon. Just so you know, she said, there are people saying things. There are always people, I replied. Fair. I saw more than I wanted to. You held the line. Good on you. Thanks, I told her. That's all I needed to hear. Life didn't turn into a movie. It turned into something better, tidy and grounded. I upgraded my truck with a used model that could tow big jobs without coughing. I moved into a townhouse with a small backyard and a shed where I could hide from the world and measure boards in peace. The shop got a new joiner. I hired a kid from the trade school who listens, shows up early, and asks the right questions. On Fridays, Nora and I make dinner at my place, no scripts. If we argue, it's short and clear. If we disagree, we plan it and walk around it until we see the shape. Then we cut. I hear of Jenna sometimes. She kept the circle that applauds dust. It hasn't gone well, from what floats my way. Two friends stopped returning her calls after she tried to manage their lives like she managed ours. She tried a new romance and ran the same manual. Different man, same result. That's not my scoreboard. It's just the weather on the other side of the field. I don't stand in the rain. People ask for the one moment that changed everything, like they want a movie frame to pin to their wall. Here it is. It wasn't the texts or the trip or the speech in the living room. It was the second I realized I wasn't less of a man for expecting basic respect. I was less of a man for letting someone rewrite me to fit their schedule. Once that clicked, the rest was logistics. The last time Jenna called, months after, I answered because I was done being afraid of my own phone. What do you want? I asked. A pause. I just wanted to hear your voice. It hasn't changed. You really leave things like this? After everything. I looked around my kitchen, the one with mismatched mugs and a plant I was somehow keeping alive. Nora's calendar note for Saturday dinner was pinned to the fridge. My truck key sat in a dish by the door. My workbench in the shed had a Project Halfway clamp that I was actually excited about. Yeah, I said. I do. Why? Because I like who I am here, I told her. And I didn't like who I had to be there. She sniffed like the line offended her. Goodbye then. Goodbye, Jenna, I said, and hung up. I don't have a speech to end on, no moral dressed up in a bow. I've got a life that runs on plain rules and straight cuts. You put respect on the table, or you don't eat with me. You keep your jokes clean in public, or I take my plate and leave. You ask for what you need, you accept no for an answer. You don't make a home into an obstacle course. That's it. When I close my shop at dusk, I lock the door, check the switches, and drive a road that feels like mine. Some nights, I pull into my driveway and see Nora walking up with a grocery bag and that look that says the day's garbage stays in the bin and not on our evening. We cook, we talk, We make tomorrow's plan in 5 minutes. Then we sit outside and listen to a neighborhood that doesn't require performance. It's not dramatic. It's good. If you ask how I knew it was over, here's your answer. The moment I told her we were leaving at 6, and she chose a Pilates class over a partner. That was the cleanest truth I ever got from her. The rest was me catching up to it. So no, I didn't win. I ended a game not worth playing. And that, quiet, unfancy, final, is how you get your life back. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.